the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Hello, let me just say I don't like either of you.
Well, that's understandable. Well, hello. What's going on with everyone on this Friday? You know, it's hard for me to believe that it's already like mid-September. Like this year has just just flew on past. And I'm starting to be depressed that Christmas is coming. Cuz I can tell my wallet is going to take a beating. But anyway, hello, and hi, and who's here? Oh, there's Tom and Michael and Mallory are here, and Troop just showed up. People are filtering into the chat room. You know, we're still up in the air about whether Kevin's internet is going to survive because he does live up in one of those backwards states. He claims that the entire state had lost their internet last weekend, but then Mike Peterson showed up and he's also in the same ass backward state. So I don't know if it's just Kevin's particular location is ass backwards. He claims that he didn't even call to report the outage. So I think it's Kevin's fault. But anyway, yeah, he's here for now. So let's go ahead and get him in because I'm afraid that, he's going to boomer it and something's going to be screwed up. So anyway.
Pretty much everything you've said so far is incorrect.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
My internet was out. MetroNet, not Mike's internet.
So is MetroNet sort of like the X delivery of
yes,
of internet?
It's the X delivery of the internet web thingy bobbers. Yes,
web thingy bobbers, yeah.
But it's fiber. It's not copper.
Well, fiber's good. It keeps you regular.
That's right. Yeah. I love my fiber.
Guys your age need to be conscious of their fiber intake.
Are there like side bets on how long the internet stays up for me, or is it?
I don't know, but
drinking game.
There was a conversation this week about turning our show into a drinking game, and I'm like, you must be new.
I know. I saw that.
As like you must be new because we started the show out as a drinking game,
That's why I had my sign.
You had a sign that said drink, and every time I said a curse word,
I can't reach it.
You held up your little sign.
I can't reach it. I was pretty.
However, we decided that it did de-evolve the show. It did affect the show in a negative way at times. And I will periodically have a beer during the show, but not to the extent that
we have a little decorum
that we were drinking before because there were bottles consumed.
Well,
and there was actually one show where Fig and I were both drunk and we were both ugly drunk at the same time.
Well, you're both ugly drunk when it's over, but all right.
If we had been in the same place, the Irish would have come out of the two hillbillies and we'd have been throwing punches for a few minutes. There was a show.
I would have been mad
that we were angry with each other in a way that we never should. I mean, we're like brothers. But brothers do fight sometimes. But
yeah.
So then, after that, I was like, I started thinking maybe it's not a good idea to drink to that level. And then there was Phil's birthday stream that was not my show, but that was on. We did stream that show on the internet.
Yeah.
But there was Phil's show where there was a lot of drinking, and it was pretty bad.
Frivolity.
Yes. David Gerlitz wants me to let you know that if the Alzheimer's kicks in, that your glasses are on top of your head when you start
That's right.
looking for them.
Dave's reading his notes again. Hi, Dave.
He's the only one in Facebook, you know. And if it was anybody other than David Gerlitz, I would not have even responded to it because by now everybody knows that Facebook is dead.
Oh, yeah.
But we still stream there just in case. But, you know, yeah.
I see Mike's here. Mike, do you have Metronet to shut him up?
Metronet sounds like a fly-by-night operation.
You're gonna wait for it.
Never heard of Metronet. I told you to get something good like AT&T, and
oh Lord,
we heard from the peanut gallery at your house over there that AT&T was in non-compass persona at your house there.
That pretty much is the yeah.
So I have to ask because we did make a visual change to the show. What is everybody's opinion on the blue blocks around our names? Is blue better than black? Because it's been black for a while.
I think
so. I'm just I think I like it. Well, you do have a field of blue behind you.
I do
because your
I do.
Your strike.
That's right.
So, there is a YouTube link on the Facebook post, David.
Don't confuse him.
I know.
Leave Dave be.
I purposely put the YouTube link right there just in case people are not apparently following us.
He's still answering emails with a phone call. Leave him be.
That's strike one.
You're just fine.
Did you hear the strike one there?
Is that a demerit?
Yeah. What's the difference is I only like to answer questions in one place.
It all is in one place.
Shh. No. We stopped promoting Facebook a while back because they blocked like 400 comments during one show. Everybody was commenting during the show, and some reason they decided that they were going to block each and every comment from every person in the chat room. So I didn't even get a notification that they did it. Everybody kept sending me private messages the next day. Yep. They blocked every comment. Every comment that I made, they blocked.
Maybe you were drunk. That's what
I was not drunk.
Yeah,
not at that moment.
They blocked everything, pretty much. Yeah,
there was like 40 people in the chat room, and half the comments were not being allowed in. But anyway, Kevin, speaking of drunkenness,
yeah,
I saw an article this week when I did my normal Google searches.
Yeah.
About vaping.
Yep.
And there was a headline that caught my eye. Since we're talking about drinking. I feel like this is on brand for us.
Wait, let me get a sip before we begin.
Yeah, let me. I gotta pre-rub it here.
So
it is now pre-rubbed. I'm going to go ahead and hit the file share button so that you guys can see this headline. Because if this is the truth, then we're fucked. Because it says, one sip of booze is all it takes to change your brain. And it, I mean, if it's accumulative, if it gets worse for every sip that you take.
All I'm thinking is a bunch of drunk rats. That's all I'm thinking.
This is from Treatment Magazine. treatmentmagazine.com. It says from the journals, one sip of booze is all it takes to change your brain.
Yeah.
It was reported 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So it says there, one sip, but now down here it says plus more evidence that vaping isn't a safe substitute for tobacco. And the influence of a child's socioeconomic background on problematic use of societal media.
Mm-hmm. We are societal media.
By William Wagner.
Well, William's an idiot, but we'll go on.
So, yeah, let's scroll this up. So much for the benign notion, the benign notion of casual drinking. The first sip of alcohol you ever take can alter your brain permanently, says a team of scientists. This week, we also examined the lung damage caused by vaping and the role socioeconomic status plays in social media addiction.
Mrs. Wagner's boy.
So and then it's italicized here, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They did a talk on booze and the brain. So a study conducted by researchers from the University of Cologne and the universities of Mannheim and Heidelberg indicates single ethanol exposure, in quotes, meaning the use of alcohol just one time, can adversely affect the brain patterns and ultimately lead to alcohol use disorder. Are you already drunk, Kevin? You're
Just
dropping.
leave me alone. I'm busy. Can't you see I'm busy?
I'm just wondering, the wife thought that was funny.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Janice was trying to hit me with stuff.
Hit him. So there's a quote here. It says, "We set out to discover ethanol-dependent molecular changes."
Can you say that
Heinrich
twice?
Schultz, ethanol-dependent molecular changes.
Thank you.
Says Heinrich Schultz, a PhD of the University of Cologne. Open quote or start quote. These, in turn, provide the basis for permanent cellular changes following a single acute ethanol intoxication. The effects of a single alcohol administration were examined at the molecular, cellular, and behavioral levels. So,
I'm not going to stop laughing, right?
This one is bolded. This one is bolded, and I don't know why they put the I in identifying in brackets here. You can see that the word identifying. There's a bracket on the I. Normally they do that if somebody is making a statement and they forgot a letter. But anyway, identifying lasting ethanol-dependent changes is an important first step in understanding how acute drinking can turn into chronic alcohol abuse. Survey said. So the now I work in healthcare, Kevin.
Yes.
So we talk about acute and chronic when it comes to illnesses. So if you fell and broke your hip today,
yep,
that's an acute injury.
Right.
But if you go through rehab in 6 months from now, you still have an ache or a pain in that hip. That is a chronic injury then.
Yes.
So
I agree.
So what they're saying is that I guess when you just start to drink, it is acute drinking.
Evidently,
or if you're a hot blonde and you're drinking, it's always acute drinking.
Sure, sip by sip, though, of course.
Yes, but then apparently, if you have 2 beers, then it's chronic drinking.
Clearly, and just for the people in the audience, now here comes the punchline.
Yeah, no, let me get there. So, performing tests on mice and fruit flies, Scholes and her fellow researchers discovered the brain's reward system is affected by the first exposure of alcohol, especially if it's a good whiskey. My brain reward is much better if it's a good whiskey versus rot gut whiskey. Anyway, specifically, that first exposure sparks disturbances in the balance between synapses and neurons, and this is in parentheses, information messengers in the brain. And begins the formation of the brain's positive association with alcohol.
It's like they're It's sort of like they're talking down to you.
So this is the pleasure principle. This is essentially what, we talk about. You take something into your body, says, oh, I like this, and produces happy chemicals. So that's, and, the same thing happens when you masturbate or have sex. Your body produces endorphins and happy chemicals. You feel, somebody comes and rubs your head. Sometimes that produces happy chemicals.
Good night, Kev. What I'm really concerned about is that they're serving alcohol to mice and fruit flies.
I'm just wondering how big the shot glass is for the fruit fly.
You can't. And certainly, what would this have to do with vaping?
I mean, really, how do they force the fruit fly? I mean, I can understand they can put some alcohol in an eyedropper and get the mouse and force it into his mouth and that's kind of like date rape. But how do they do it for the fruit fly though? How do they force the fruit to actually take that shot? I mean, I'm just wondering.
Don't get me started. They put a roofie in the drink.
I mean, do they have a beer bong, a fruit fly sized beer bong? I mean, are these college age fruit flies?
I want to know why
are these like the frat bro fruit flies that they're testing out here? I
want to know why they have so much fucking time on their hands to look at fruit flies.
They got a grant, and I guarantee you, even though these universities are in Germany, that the NIH probably paid for some of this.
Well, probably.
Just saying. So anyway, the researchers believe their work provides a link in our understanding of the chain resulting in chronic alcohol use. Says Scholes. Usually, I don't like it when they put the quote thing in front of the quote. Like, it should be the quote, and then at the end says Scholes. That to me, that just it. Anyway, this woman Scholes, she says these mechanisms may even be relevant to the observation in humans that the first alcohol intoxication at an early age is a critical risk factor for later alcohol intoxication and the development of alcohol addiction. This means that identifying lasting ethanol-dependent changes is an important first step in understanding how acute drinking can turn into chronic alcohol abuse.
So it's not alcohol-dependent now, it's ethanol-dependent.
Well, yeah, they got it. Well, there are...
I can't.
You don't want to be drinking isopropyl alcohol. That's not good, Kevin.
I'm just saying, I know, right? Because, fucking word. Fruit flies like fruit, yes.
Well, did they use flavored wine or flavored alcohol to entice these flies into drinking?
Jesus Christ! I mean, an apricot.
I mean, I got to know, Kevin, because
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
Got to be worried about those flavors, man. They could be enticing these mice and these fruit flies into these things just by
I'm sure we've all seen the squirrel drunk, like D-Stat just said.
Yeah.
Well, he looks smart, but we'll see.
Yeah. So this is David Christiani, MD, and this is part 2 of this article that started with alcohol and now is on e-cigarettes. It says, from the New England Journal of Medicine, evidence, lung damage for e-cigarette users. So anyone who thinks e-cigarettes are a safe alternative to tobacco should read this study out of Massachusetts General Hospital. In a nutshell, it says that vaping damages the small airways in the lungs. The study was small, examining a cohort of 4 patients who had been vaping for 3 to 8 years, but comprehensive.
Stop.
The patient.
What does this "but comprehensive" even mean?
Well, the study was small, with only 3 to 4 people.
Well, it should have said small but comprehensive, and then moved on. This is twice we've had to correct them.
Yes. The patients underwent exhaustive evaluations, including pulmonary function tests, chest imaging, and surgical lung biopsies.
Well, thank goodness for doing something you don't need to do, but all right.
Every patient was diagnosed with a narrowing of the small airways, while 3 had mild emphysema. So I'm wondering, Kevin, if these 3 or 4 people that they studied, it's 4. These 4 people that they studied smoked for 20 or 30 years before they started vaping.
Yeah.
And you know, if they've only been vaping 3 to 8 years, remember what Charlie said when he was on the show, that it takes about 10 years for your lungs to go back to pre-smoking condition.
Yeah.
If ever.
I do.
You know, I'm not gonna, just because we had one doctor on the show, one scientist on the show, come and tell us that, you know, we need to have 3 or 4 doctors so that we can, you know, we can be the same size as this study.
A consensus instead of correlation virus. Yes, I agree.
Right. So, you know, I would say if you had 4 guys or 4 girls or a mixture of that vaped for 20 or smoked for 20 or 30 years and then became vapors, that their lungs were probably not going to immediately heal in 3 to 8 years. Call me crazy.
Ta-da.
So anyway, they're not gonna mention that at all, though. And if they smoked if they were long-term smokers and they had smoked for a long time, I would imagine that some of them might have mild emphysema.
I wouldn't imagine that I wouldn't be.
They probably had lung infections every winter. They probably had to have breathing treatment. I had to take steroid breathing treatments like clockwork every year. I would get a chest infection or whatever, and I'd have to go and take the thing, blah, 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 and then it would clear up in a couple days.
I want to point out, David,
nothing since I quit smoking. That was 10 years.
Dave did mention this is Christianity's son. Just so we're somewhat polite.
And he's dating the doctor from the previous thing. So this is the no fun couple. No smoking, no drinking, you know.
Oh.
So researchers attributed all of the maladies to vaping. Our investigation shows that chronic pathological abnormalities can occur in vaping exposure, says senior author David Christiani, MD, a physician investigator at Mass General. So these mass holes are just stupid. Physicians can be informed by scientific evidence when advising patients about the potential harm of long-term vaping. And this work adds to a growing body of toxicological evidence that nicotine vaping exposures can harm the lungs. On the bright side, the damage doesn't seem to be irreversible. 3 of the patients showed better pulmonary function tests and chest imaging after quitting vaping. After 10 years. Yeah. The rest of this is about social media. I'm not going to talk about that. But so one sip of whiskey or alcohol or whatever changes your brain, Kevin.
It'll be anarchy.
And some dumbass doctor in Massachusetts is going to go against a vast body of science that says that vaping is relatively harmless, not completely harmless, but compared to smoking.
I know you're not going to believe this, but one day I was having a beer with my supper, and my son Dustin, he's like 9, he said, "I want some." I said, "Do you? Let's get you a Dixie cup." It did not cover the bottom. In about 2 minutes, he said he was feeling it. So maybe they're right. I don't know.
Your 9-year-old kid was a lightweight, because when I was a kid and I was like 8, my dad would snap his fingers and send me to the refrigerator to get him a beer, and I'd pop the top and take a guzzle before I even gave it to him, and he'd look at me like, you know, he's gonna get me later on. Never did, but he was always, you know,
as long as you kept drinking, giving him beer, he didn't get you, did he?
No.
There you go. So yeah, I must have altered Dustin's brain. I didn't know he was a fruit fly though at the time. So
well, you know,
I feel bad now.
We don't judge people. If your son is a fruit fly, we won't judge him.
Fruit fly. That's what I was looking for.
You know,
Oh my god.
that's Kevin's fault, by the way. Kevin motivated me to get the buzzer.
It's just a thing. Every time you say the word GLANTZ, it should be done as well.
Well, I don't intentionally plan on ever saying that person's name on my show, Kevin,
See?
unless it's relevant.
My mom filled my Ninja Turtle. Whoops.
Mhm.
I will say that no child should be using any tobacco product.
So just saying.
I
So
would think that no child should ever be able to purchase it, but
after reading that one article with the two topics that were somehow incestuously married together in that article,
intertwined.
okay,
It's a love fest between Mr. Christiani or Dr. Christiani and
Schultz and
Steve
Dr.
there.
Yeah.
Schadenfreude.
So-
What is that, Dave? Schadenfreude.
There was another piece that caught my attention since we, the No Fun League
Get
husband, the couple that we have imaginarily put together in the last two articles, basically saying, don't have any fun.
That's right.
Here's another piece
That's right.
that was published 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And it says prohibition is a bad way to deal with flavored tobacco.
Huh. Well,
So now we have to, and this is from the Independent Institute. I have no idea who these people are, but it does say over here the power of independent thinking, which I love.
it's rare.
I love the power of independent thinking.
On occasion, you can find it in the wild.
Not by you, but other people. No. So it says here, on November 8, 2022, Californians will be able to vote up or down a law prohibiting the sale of flavored tobacco products statewide. The
Again.
referendum, Proposition 31, would undo Senate Bill 793, a 2020 law that bans the sale of many flavored tobacco products that has not yet to go into effect. The prohibited products are vapes, menthol cigarettes, of special note, fruity and sweet flavorings like sour apple and gummy bear. I have to ask, Kevin, because every time we read one of these articles, almost 100% of the time, they're going to bring up gummy bear.
Yep.
And then it'll either be sour apple or cotton candy.
Yes, correct.
Those are like they're not going to mention like bourbon custard or
Nope.
anything that could possibly,
Nope.
not be kiddie. They're gonna always bring up gummy bear and cotton candy or gummy bear and sour apple, because it does appear that sour apple tends to be the most popular, like Jolly Rancher flavor, or and I can't stand sour apple, by the way. Just can't.
Neither can I.
No.
So, sour apple. Sour is a good word for their narrative, and gummy bear brings to mind the children.
Yes. So yeah.
Just to play on the words that they can continuously and forever do.
Yeah. So anyway, it says here, and this guy is like on our side.
Yep.
Like, but he still targets those two flavors. He could have used any other flavor descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a really good Fuji apple flavor additive. I'm vaping a apple brandy tobacco right now that I'm tweaking right now. Not to, but yeah, apple brandy tobacco, and it
You're
uses
not
a
gonna
Fuji
do it in
apple.
California.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing whatever the fuck I want, because I ain't never going to no damn California again. Californians will be better off without the ban, which disproportionately affects the vaping market. It affects more harm, or it does more harm than good, by pushing users toward unflavored tobacco products, typically cigarettes. Tobacco policy should focus on harm reduction, and vaping is less harmful than smoking.
And there you go.
On the one hand, the state's legislature or legislators should be congratulated for recognizing the costs of SB 793. For example, because the original version of the ban included pipe tobacco, Doug Shaw of Sanctuary Tobacco in San Luis Obispo planned to close his shop. Luckily, the law was amended to exempt pipe tobacco. And still, all of the vape shops are going to fucking close.
Yes.
Anyway, tobacco policy across the country almost always takes a step too far. In the case of flavored vaping products, the emphasis is on children, as the California legislator who authored SB 793 argued, using candy fruit and other alluring flavors, the tobacco industry weaponized its tactics to beguile a new generation into nicotine addiction.
We are going to be taking action very.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I got to get used to these sound buttons over here, Kevin.
Is it legal somewhere for children to purchase these items, Mr.?
No, and every time I point that out, I pointed that out on a tweet this week.
Really?
Somebody said that the kids still had full access to these flavored tobacco products, and then I said it's already illegal for them to purchase or possess.
Right.
Nobody responded. Nobody
cares.
responded at all. It was kind of,
You're right. You're right. What you said quite a while back. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
You're right.
It was disheartening. The worry about children is an important policy concern,
Yes.
but it is overly broad. Adults also enjoy the same flavors. A glance at cocktail menus at any bar will show drinks with similar flavors. And don't forget the fruity alcohol seltzers and craft beers on grocery store shelves. Now, I did see something that really pissed me off, Kevin. And
Okay.
you know me, every time somebody says, well, the alcohol companies can get away with it. And I'm like, you sound like a petulant child because your older brother can do something that you can't do. But I did see a beer with the Warheads like candy
Oh, really?
label right on. It was their logo. Like they partnered with a beer company to make a beer. So I'm like, this is pretty. I mean, it wasn't even look alike. It was the same fucking logo that's on the candy. It was on the beer.
Wow.
So, in this one instance, I'm gonna side with the people that are whining that the alcohol companies can get away with it, because it does sound like a petulant child when you do that. And you let him do it, why can't I? But this one was bad, a bad branding idea. The candy company should know better, but they partnered with the beer company, or the beer company went to them and said, "Hey,
right,
we have this beer that's got your flavor in it. Do you want to partner up?"
Yeah.
I don't know which situation, who it was that made
send us a case.
Yeah. D-Stat says, I'm a craft beer connoisseur and I would never drink that shit, but I also hate all sours. I am an alcoholic. No, I am an alcohol enthusiast of all sorts.
There you go.
There are quite a lot of things that are quite popular, like IPAs, that you would never ever get me to drink, because I can't. Some hipster kid, some popular person said it was that IPAs were cool, and now all the dummies are drinking it. So anyway,
all I know is it's not legal.
Yeah. Not only do fruity flavors appeal to adults, but the vaping products that may be outlawed in the state are safer than traditional cigarettes. Burning tobacco in a paper tube delivers nicotine, but it also delivers tar and other additives into smokers' lungs, to the extent that vaping reduces the harm from tobacco products. Banning flavored tobacco, mostly vaping products, will hurt more than it helps. See, I said all the dummies like IPAs, and D-Stat had to type in the chat room that he likes IPA. See? Anyway, much of the state's harm comes from much of the ban's harm comes from making it more difficult to stop smoking. Research suggests that vaping can be a valuable tool to help people quit smoking cigarettes. That is exactly true. Jacob Greer, a journalist who focuses on the alcohol and tobacco industries, pointed out recently that England's health services actively promote vaping as a cessation tool. Californians would do well to look into such international examples rather than allow SB 793 to take effect. Vaping status as safer does not mean risk-free. That's absolutely true. I don't like it. And I criticize people in our circles that always type in hashtag safe or whatever in
harmless
their tweets,
yep,
or harmless because it's not accurate. And later on, I will show you in Twitter where I corrected a person on Twitter today who made a completely impossible to prove statement, and it's nonsense anyway. But we'll talk about that later. We have to be as truthful as possible in our tweets, even if our enemies don't, because they can lie and get away with it. If we lie, they're going to point out that we're being liars. Yeah. So yes, that we cannot fall into that trap. We have to be as 100% accurate as possible, because they got billions of dollars. They can get away with lying. Kevin or I or Jeffrey or Michael or anybody in the chat room, if we made a false statement, they're going to pile on and they're going to say, see, they're liars. So,
we generally correct ourselves, and I've been corrected. Jim McDonald has corrected me at least twice.
I've corrected Jim, though, so it's okay.
Right. We all should, really,
I got your back. He and I had a Twitter exchange where I was 100% true or factual, and like I put all my proof up there, and he's like, "Well, this is a pointless conversation," and then he left. So.
I'm okay with anybody correcting me.
Yeah, I correct him all the time.
It's I'm also the guy that's going to go explain me something because I don't know, right? So
I try to make sure that any statement that I tweet, I can prove, and I usually go ahead and put the link in there anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't even, speaking of people being completely disingenuous or unfactual, like if you go on Twitter right now, my entire Twitter thing is full of 50 asylum seekers in Martha's Vineyard tweets. Yeah. And I'm like, of course it was a political ploy. Yeah. And now all you're talking about is that.
Sure.
And, so nobody, I'm not going to get into that conversation because
right.
There's no good people on that argument. Trump says there's good people on both sides. There's no good people on both sides of that argument. I mean, I feel bad for the 50 people, but
No, you're not, Michael. No, you're not. And I will point out to you, and I don't know offhand the reference, Carl Phillips, who's been awfully quiet. I'm a little concerned because I love him and I hate him at the same time.
Carl says a lot of mean shit too, though.
He actually had something in an article that he had done that it was less than 1%, not the 95. He said the 95 is bullshit too. So anyway, here or there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a respected medical researcher in England, so I can't testify to the veracity, but I trust them.
Yes. At least.
Yeah. Vaping status as safe. Oh, I already read that. Yeah. Here we go. As James Prager, an economist at Pepperdine University, concluded in his review of research on vaping, this is a quote: "There is great uncertainty about the long-term effects of vaping. The answer to whether using e-cigarettes is better for your health than smoking is almost surely yes."
Yeah.
So I need, and I don't have the positive sound from Family Feud that you have said the right thing. I only have the negative sound, so I don't want to give him a buzz. So just imagine I have that sound. Yes, that one. We have to have positive reinforcement as well as negative reinforcement, Kevin. I'll have to add that later. Still, a focus on children's tobacco use is an important safety or public policy question. Here again, however, reasons can be found for worrying about bans doing more harm than good. Teens who vape also are teens who smoke. In a hypothetical group of 100 high school students who don't otherwise use tobacco or nicotine products, only 2% of them vape frequently.
Right.
Research on broad menthol and flavor bans, such as California's SB 793, is underway, but previous age restrictions on e-cigarettes have not been effective in reducing tobacco use. Dr. Michael Pesco at Cornell University studied the effects of age restrictions on purchasing e-cigarettes. He showed that the restrictions don't stop students from consuming nicotine. They simply smoked traditional cigarettes instead of e-cigarettes.
That's correct.
SB 793 also strikes at minorities who tend to prefer menthol cigarettes. Introduced in the 1950s and representing 30% of the U.S. market, they encourage more of the smuggling that now undermines state excise tax revenue and likely will lead to more dangerous interactions with police for those who smoke. Duh. Dude, I got video. I could go to the video. You know, we did show a guy getting killed. Oh, no, we didn't actually show. Right. Let's be clear. We showed right up to the point where he got killed by police officers because he had a vape.
Right.
And then obviously George Floyd and the kid that got tased for vaping on the boardwalk and the other kid that got tased and then beat up by the cops. Then there was a kid that got beat up by his fellow students. He was a special needs kid that got beat up by his students for getting them in trouble because he was vaping. So, yeah, we have the stories. So anyway, Californians should focus on inevitable substitution amongst nicotine sources. Banning flavored vaping liquids will cause some people to revert to their riskier alternative of smoking cigarettes. Public health rules should reflect the relative risk of consumption activities. Even fruity flavored tobacco products are less dangerous than traditional cigarettes. And then this is the fellas that wrote the thing. William F. Sugart II is the research director at the Independent Institute and the J. Fish Smith Professor in Public Choice in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. And then Josh T. Smith is a research manager at the Center for Growth and Opportunity at Utah State University. So these are like Mormons. Because they're from Utah.
So they mentioned Pesco, which I appreciate.
Well, yes, because you know, even though he wouldn't come on our show, and he sent his friend.
Yes, correct.
Charlie. I could never say his name right.
I'm not going to try.
No, but
and
his co-author,
Mike,
came on the show.
Yeah, Michael and DStat, I'm in the same boat. Sometimes I can find it, sometimes I can't. But
well, I mean, we actually have a wiki. We have the Safer Nicotine wiki.
Yeah, nicotine. Yeah, Safer Nicotine wiki.
I think that's Juka's research database. That's the one that.
Is that what he uses? Probably. It may be. I know if you message me, and I've had this happen with business owners actually, looking for specific things, and I've either had it or I had to find it, one or the other, and yeah, Juka is actually one of the people that I go to if I can't find something, if I need it quick enough, but he's an amazing source. I'd love to have him on too, actually. That'd be fun.
Does he speak English?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because he's foreign.
Yeah.
He's a foreigner.
Oh,
he's not American.
Translator, it'll be a first. It's okay. I love him anyway. I like him better than I like you. I don't even like you.
I think he's in like one of those Scandinavian countries or something. No,
I thought he was Finnish. I don't know.
that's one of the
he does
Scandinavian.
like that.
Finland is
Huh?
one of the Scandinavian countries, you dummy.
I don't know what. I have no idea.
There's like Denmark and Norway and Finland. They're actually. So this next one. Well, Eliana, we could have Eliana back on. She's a genius. We like her. This next one goes along the same lines of problems that I didn't even know existed. This falls into that category of this one I didn't even I wasn't even aware, but apparently there's a thing called nicotine gummies that I was not aware of, and apparently they are a public health crisis waiting to happen. However, they still decided to use stock photo of a Juul though, even though they're talking about nicotine gummies. I don't, it's weird to me. So this is Chantel. This is the caption under this picture. Chantel Williams exhales a puff of vapor from a Juul pen, Vancouver, Washington. This is Tuesday, April 16, 2019. So they're using, what year are we in, Kevin?
Chantel. It's 22, I believe.
Yeah, this is September of 2022, but they apparently couldn't find the vape, or not the vape, the gummy, nicotine gummy epidemic is so bad they couldn't find a single picture of a nicotine gummy. So they had to use a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, 4-year-old.
See what Michael
almost 4
said? You see Michael's comment?
Yes, I know. Let me he's getting like if we just show that comment, then there's no reason to talk about the article. You gotta pace yourself, Kevin.
I can't.
Don't draw attention to Michael Redfern's comment yet. I should delete his comment.
I like you better than I like him, Michael. It's okay.
I should say, like, he should wait until we get to the point in the article where that actually would allow me to read the article.
And then I can say, did you see Michael? Okay, I got it.
Yes. You're messing with the flow of the show, guys.
Michael, if I could mute him, I would.
Don't skip to the end. Anyway, I'm not prepared. I'm not. I have to be prepared for you to do. Okay, wait. Do survey says again.
Are you ready? All right.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to do that. You got to. You got to warn me because I need to get survey says later. So anyway, they find like a 4-year-old picture of a Juul when they're talking about nicotine gummies. So, Jeffrey, do not make me like put you in a corner for a minute. First, there were flavored cigarettes that tasted like chocolate or grape. Then
there were
and I'm telling you what though, the Camel Camel had the ones that came in a tin that were flavored. They had one that was like an orange tobacco.
I don't remember all this.
I have not found the appropriate orange flavor to mix. I have the right tobacco, but I need the orange. I have to order every citrus flavor to try to get orange is like hard, so that I can make. I can make that because that was.
Why wasn't I informed that there were grape and chocolate? Nobody.
Cigarettes. Well, I mean, obviously, Kevin, you do realize that all cigarettes have chocolate in them.
Well, I know that, but was it the squeeze crack things?
No,
that they,
no,
no. Okay, all right. I really
no.
didn't
This
know
was
that they had
actual
chocolate.
flavored tobacco.
Oh my God.
Camel had a series of I want to say 6 different flavors. They came in little tins. There were 20, but they were flat tins.
But kids weren't allowed to buy them either way, right?
No, they were still
Legal.
they
Okay,
were still
okay.
but
Just check.
they were out when I was in college.
Oh, that's why, because I
My-
really didn't pay
My freshman year in college, they were out. So anyway,
Ugh.
they weren't called ovals. They weren't. I'll find you a picture of them later. But
Ugh.
anyway, first there were flavored cigarettes that taste like chocolate or grape. Then came the e-cigarettes in flavors like cotton candy or gummy bear.
Yup.
Did I just not call that one? Now there are flavored gummies. Now there are flavored gummies made with nicotine, and the US FDA isn't happy about it. I have a clove liquid over here, Michael Redford.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not great. Anyway, the agency has been warning parents to keep an eye out for products that may look like typical candy but are actually nicotine based. It says they could be very dangerous for children. Hey, Kevin.
What?
I don't know if you know this or not, but there are already nicotine laced candies that are candy flavored, hard
Yes, there
candy,
are.
not gummies, that are available at almost every grocery store and pharmacy in the United States. And the
Yes.
label, the packaging says that these are safe for kids as young as 12.
I actually have pictures at my local Kroger. They are below my almost 4-year-old grandson's face. They are at and below
Yes.
his eye level.
Yes, they are shin level.
That's crazy.
Yes, but they're raising hell about gummies, but there's already hard candies that they've approved to be on the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nicotine gummies are a public health crisis just waiting to happen among our nation's youth, particularly as we head into a new school year, FDA Commissioner Dr. Robert Califf warned last month.
Yeah.
The FDA last month sent a warning letter to VPR Brands, one of the companies that makes nicotine gummies, advising that the products were being sold illegally. By law, manufacturers need to submit an application and have it approved by the FDA before a tobacco product can be legally marketed in the United States. The agency says VPR had not asked for this pre-market authorization for its gummies. Each of the gummies had 1 milligram of nicotine, and they came in 12 to a package. The FDA says 1 to 4 milligrams of nicotine could be severely toxic to children under 6, as well as to older children, depending on their weight. So it's okay for the fat kids, apparently, Kevin.
That's a weird sentence. Children under 6, as well as older children, just toxic to children.
Well, apparently, if you have an older kid that's super skinny, that it could be, So feed your kids so the nicotine won't hurt them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Metabolism.
So the website for VPR's Crave brand says the tobacco-free products were meant to empower adult smokers with the tools to use nicotine on their own terms. But the gummies' bright colors and fruit flavors like blue raz and cherry bomb and pineapple could also appeal to kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, could, maybe, should, maybe. Where's my mouse?
They're going to walk in and say to the clerk, that looks appealing to me. I would like to purchase one of those. And the clerk is going to say, okay, no problem. Here you go.
But you know what my favorite candy is, Kevin? If I go to the store, you know what my favorite candy is? I like cherry bombs. Cherry bombs,
yeah. Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
Just saying. Yeah. VPR Brands did not respond to CNN's request for comment, and the website now says the gummies have been discontinued.
No.
Yeah, well. But other companies' nicotine products that look like candy are still available, as well as lozenges, pouches, and gum.
Huh.
Didn't I just mention lozenges?
I think you did.
I did. And gum obviously comes in fruity flavors.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. As a matter of fact, Patrick, why do they not have a tobacco flavored? I'm curious.
Tobacco flavored gum?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, apparently that would not appeal to kids, and it wouldn't appeal to adults either. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there is a segment of people that like chewing tobacco that might
there may
might be fine with that. I don't want to completely 100% discount the joy that somebody else might receive by a certain flavor.
Right.
I would not gatekeep flavors. I would not say that all people like a certain thing, because that would be not true.
But
some people even like butt, Kevin.
Well, butt lunch.
Some people like that. I'm not gonna judge people for what they like.
No,
that would be counterproductive to liberty.
It just doesn't make any sense that there's no tobacco flavored nicotine gum. That's all. I don't understand.
Well, no, I mean, you think about it. If you choose to use nicotine gum to get off of your chewing tobacco habit, that might be the thing that helps for you, because you don't chew nicotine gum. You bite into it, right. And then you put it between your teeth and your gum or your lip over here. You put it over here like that, right in that spot, and that's the same spot that tobacco chewers chew, right?
Yep.
And if you're a snus person, that's also where you put your snus or your snus or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. There is no clear data, depending on how you prefer, that documents how pervasive the gummies or any other candy-like nicotine product have become. But if a recent study of nicotine use in Southern California is any indication, they are popular.
Huh.
In that survey, 9th and 10th graders who reported use of nicotine were more likely to use flavored non-tobacco oral nicotine products, gummies, tablets, lozenges, and gums, than many more traditional products like cigarettes. They were second only to the ever-popular e-cigarettes. About 10% of kids surveyed used e-cigarettes, and more than 3% of those, and more than 3% chose the oral nicotine products. So now there's a truly, truly troubling. It's truly, truly troubling. And what if it's quotation mark parentheses? What does one quotation mark mean?
I don't know.
I mean, and I'm like a grammar Nazi, but I've never, ever, ever, ever used a one quotation mark like that.
Accidental, probably.
That's an apostrophe, right?
It's troubling.
It is truly, truly troubling that I don't know what an apostrophe used as parentheses actually means. But anyway, nicotine gum and lozenges have been on the market for years. Gummy products were a relative newcomer, said Erica Sward, Assistant Vice President for the National Advocacy for the American Lung Association. That has her concerned. So why is the American Lung Association concerned about gummies?
Right. Well, because it's nicotine.
But they're all about lungs, right? Their whole job is to take care of lungs.
Except when they want to be imposing on you on an article like this.
It seems odd to me that they would be spending any effort at all on gummies, because they don't affect people's lungs unless they, inhaled while they were swallowing or something.
It's about the children, Patrick.
Yeah, no. The gummies were on the market for about 6 to 9 months before the FDA sent its warning letter, she said, and that's a sign that there will probably be many, many, many more kid-friendly nicotine products to come. Then there's a proper quotation.
Yeah.
The FDA oversight of these products is not going as fast as it needs to be, Sward said. She was encouraged by the warning letter, but says it's not enough. Here's another quote. I think until the FDA shows that they're serious about cracking down on these companies, that they are coming out with these products, it's going to continue to be a problem. She added that it is especially worrisome that companies know they can't introduce a product without FDA's pre-market sign-off, but do it anyway.
Yeah.
This is truly, truly troubling from the perspective of parents or anyone in general thinking that if a product is on the market, that somebody's taking a look at it, and we know that's just not the case, Ward said. So the FDA Center for Tobacco Products has roughly 1,000 employees, and they have 4 million applications that they have to look through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple comments I'm going to make.
Okay, make some comments.
All right. First of all, the apostrophe, I think, may have been a quote within a quote kind of reference. I don't know for that part. And you haven't got to the sentence yet. Appropriate enforcement actions that are supported by evidence. What does
you stop me? So I haven't been able to do that yet, Kevin.
Evidence mean? What does that mean?
Well,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So the FDA has been allowed to regulate synthetic nicotine only since earlier this year, after Congress gave the agency authority over non-tobacco nicotine products. The agency said in a statement to CNN that it's deeply committed to addressing the ongoing public health concerns around all youth tobacco use and will continue to take appropriate enforcement actions that are supported by evidence. Yeah.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
So, but we're afraid of our government. So, yeah.
When I was about 11, Patrick, I was.
Well, that was way before I was born.
It's
Kevin.
Decades and decades ago, and my father said, "Quote." In a lot sterner voice, "Did you get those cigarettes, boy?" And I said, "Well, over at the King Quick." And he grabbed me by the scruff of my neck, and he took me into the car, ever so gently, of course, because he was a kind man. And we then, by the scruff of my neck, went into the King Quick, is what it was called, Dairy Mart, Stop and Go, whatever you want to call it. And he asked the clerk if she was in charge, and she said yes. And he said, "If you ever sell cigarettes to this fucking kid again, I'm going to come in here and kill all of you." But the point of the story is sympathetic as you may or may not be about it, was what the source was.
Yeah, no. See, here's the thing about that, Kevin, though. When I was a kid, my dad would drive to the gas station and send me into the store to buy his cigarettes.
Correct. Which he also had done a couple times.
So he would not be able
the irony.
He would not be able to go in there and threaten them, because the next time he wanted me to go over there and get him his cigarettes while he was pumping gas.
Yep.
I mean, nowadays they won't do it, or but yeah. When I was a kid, my dad would be like, "Here's $20. I need $10 worth of gas and 4 packs of cigarettes," or whatever, know.
And
bring me my change. Don't be getting no candy with that change. That's my change.
No more hit paraders for you, buddy.
Here's a quote. "Manufacturers of any illegal products, including nicotine gummies, should be on alert that FDA is actively working to identify violations and will swiftly seek corrective actions. Importantly, no nicotine gummy products have been authorized by the FDA, and therefore any products currently being sold are doing so illegally." So, I mean, you could also use that quote to say no nicotine e-liquid products have been authorized by the FDA, and therefore any products currently being sold are doing so illegally.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, technically, since they haven't been doing their job of enforcement,
But enforcement,
they're, for years, the FDA has been cracking down on companies that have tried to sell certain kinds of nicotine products that echo kid-friendly foods. In 2020, it restricted flavors on vaping devices, which came in options like Charm cereal, cherry lime cola, and heavy custard unicorn cake. What? I know a couple companies that make a cherry lime soda. Anyway, in 2019, the FDA chastised e-cigarette giant Juul for the way it marketed its products, including school presentations in which the company said that the product was totally safe and that the FDA would approve it any day.
Yeah.
In June, it ordered the company to stop selling its products, but the court blocked that ban, so the products are still for sale. After a 2-year investigation found that Juul deliberately marketed its products to children, several state attorney generals announced this week that the company will pay a settlement of $438.5 million to 34 states and territories.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you divide that up, 400. Where's my calculator, Kevin? Let's just break this
It's
down.
like 30 million or something. I don't remember now. All I know is it's extortion is what it is.
Well, not only, I mean, they just looked at it like this. Well, if we pay them now and get them to sign this agreement, then we don't have to worry about them tomorrow.
Correct. And it'll shut everybody up. Ha ha ha. It's not even hush money.
No.
And
no,
then
Kevin, see, you're really wrong. Your math is way wrong.
Okay.
So it's only 12.89 million per state.
There you go. See? So I was wrong.
Yeah, 438 divided by 34 is 12.89. So if you turn that into millions, it's 12,890,000. So less than 13 million for 34 states.
Our friend Leslie did a little piece that I think it was on Twitter, and I think this was ending as an article, that some of these states got more money from Juul than they ever spent on keeping kids from smoking.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, if we look at, if we use the campaign for lying to kids about stuff, fact sheets that they release every year, and we look at their report cards. Yeah, I mean, some of these states spend like
less than 2%,
$100,000 a year on stop smoking pamphlets, and they get like $100 million or $200 million a year, something they crazy like that.
They buy like a case of patches and gum and that kind of stuff and give it out, I'm sure.
Yeah. So they're just going to write 34 checks for $13 million, which I mean, to you and me, is a huge. I mean, I would take one check for $13 million. I'm not going to complain, Shit, if they sent me a check for $13, I wouldn't say no. That's $13 I didn't have. But to make this seem like a huge victory, 438.5 million, that's a big number. But when you get down to the fact that it has to be divided, among 34 states, that really does.
And it opens a door for future stupidity. This is like a vague thing to me.
I bet you $10 that there's an agreement at the end of that the attorney general signed that says that we will not sue you about this again.
About this, you.
Well, yeah, about youth marketing. They won't be able to use that as a, no. There's no way that I'm going to agree to write checks until I get some sort of statement saying that I'm not going to have to fight this fight tomorrow.
Yep.
So the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention still considers kids' e-cigarette use a serious health problem or health concern, considering that the number's less than 3% or something like that, Kevin. I don't know about that. But during the pandemic, vaping rates among teens declined for the first time in years. That's not true. Well, 3 years. The numbers have been going down for 3 years. But CDC Foundation data showed that e-cigarette sales went up just as kids started going back to school, according to Matt Myers. Show me the proof, Matt Myers.
Yep.
Show it to me. Prove it to me. In 2021, about 2.5 million students reported using some form of tobacco product, according to CDC surveys. According to the last report that we read last week, Kevin, it was 3 million students vaped. Now they're saying 2.55 million used tobacco in any form. So are they going to get their lies all lined up in a row, please?
Well, everything's tobacco now, so it's all the same.
Well, no, but the last thing specifically said that it was 10% of high school students in the United States, 10% were vapors, had vaped. Not, there was no had used tobacco. And now the number is 2.55 million, which is 500,000 less than what they said last week. And it's now all tobacco products.
It's all in the
disposable
wording.
flavored vapes. Yeah. But they said vape, Kevin. They said vape. It was the CDC. They were quoting CDC numbers. Disposable flavored vapes, which use synthetic nicotine, not all of them, are especially popular with kids. These products come in flavors like sugar cookie. I like sugar cookies. Mango, pound cake, and fizzy lemonade. To prove a point, Kevin,
you got fizzy lemonade.
I have a package of cowboy cookies right here.
No way.
At my desk. And I will open this package.
Were they made by real cowboys?
And show you
Or they
my
made with real cowboys?
Chocolate chip cookie.
Huh. I'll be there. Oh my God. Adults like flavors? Is that what you're telling me? I don't understand. I know Janice does. She'd hurt me if
double cookie
didn't have any flavors. You know that. And checks, yes, I use about 3 a year.
Periodically, I had to write a check for the air conditioner repairman 2 weeks ago.
Once in a great while.
My wife has a checkbook. I don't have checks. I have I have an electronic account, but
I do now. But those cookies have nicotine. Well, of course they do.
No, but they have chocolate.
They have chocolate, so they have nicotine. There you go.
No, they have caffeine. There's no nicotine in chocolate, but there is caffeine in chocolate. And where is my friend Chris Big Knowledge Garland when I just had a
I don't know.
chocolate chip cookie so that he could espouse the virtues of chocolate. The companies that make products with synthetic nicotine have argued that they didn't need to follow the rules that apply to other nicotine products because theirs didn't contain tobacco. A 2009 law finally allowed the FDA to regulate nicotine products, but it specified nicotine that came from tobacco. And I told you then, in 2014, and I have audio of the head of the FDA at the time, FDA Tobacco at the time, Mitch Zeller, saying we fully intend to regulate nicotine from other sources as well. It just took them a few years.
Love you.
Thank you.
No, shut up. You're gonna clip that tiny little spot, aren't you?
In April, a new law clarified the FDA could regulate products that use synthetic nicotine, but many of the products are still for sale as the agency reviews the manufacturer's applications to remain on the market. The FDA blew its court-ordered deadline to make a decision about the products. Well, look at that. He's late. He's like Candyman, but I only said his name once. He's not supposed to show up until I say his name 3 times. And there's no mirror. I had to have a mirror. You have to have a mirror when you do the Candyman thing.
Get another cookie.
I know that one cookie was enough, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody tagged him. I bet you. Anyway, the law gives the FDA the tools to move quickly, Meyer said, but it doesn't often use them. It doesn't have the people, you moron. If that agency had 10,000 employees, it would still take a significant amount of time for them to review these applications, many of which are hundreds of thousands of pages.
They still wouldn't get anything done correctly.
Yeah. Anti-tobacco experts say that although it's good that the FDA has taken some action on nicotine gummy products, the agency should be doing a lot more. And then there's a quote from Matt Myers. It says, "What nicotine gummies proves or just reminds us of is the absence of the FDA drawing a hard line in the sand. Our kids are more at risk of being exposed to addictive nicotine products than they have in a very long time. The FDA's enforcement has been so sporadic, and when companies believe that there is profits to be made, it should be there are profits to be made, we will continue to see the introduction of new nicotine-laced products that appeal to kids." Close quote.
I cannot imagine anybody in the industry, not ours, the industry, that said,
Now,
you know, Bob, don't you think kids would like this? Because I think they would. Let's do that.
well, I mean,
Let's pretend there's 1% of them that did.
I'm still questioning. I mean, I'm so far removed from being a child.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that there was such a thing as a nicotine gummy.
Right.
That I don't know how popular they are. I don't know where they're sold.
I haven't seen Logan with one yet.
Now I did see. I mean, obviously our goofball friend Michael said that they were removed from the market before I got to that part of the story. But I don't actually know. Did they receive that letter, open it, and remove that product from their website?
I doubt it.
Or was it removed before the letter? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, you don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Cart, horse, who knows?
I have trigger finger. My finger is locking up. Is that from shooting too much, Kevin? Do you know?
Probably. Have you been lately?
Well, I shoot all the time.
There you go.
But this is the first time that's ever happened before. And I haven't punched anybody, so it can't be that. I can't.
That's right. He said he would retract that statement.
Well, he left. I don't know if I heard his feelings.
He had to get up early.
I feel bad that he that he left because I picked on him for a minute.
So are you going to go to DC and see Skip or not? Because that's
Probably
next,
not.
Is that this week? It's next week. Is that next week?
That's not happening. That's not happening. I have to request vacation time 4 weeks in advance. It's not chicken. It's like saving my vacation for something that
she'd love to see you.
I know, right? She'd love to see me so she could punch me.
She's going to see so many people in that thing. Oh my gosh!
I am kind of jealous about that, but yeah.
Oh my goodness!
They should come. They should have these conferences in somewhere fun like Texas.
It's too hot.
Not DC.
Like Nashville, maybe Nashville, Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. There's nothing fun in Ohio, dude. Not a damn thing fun in Ohio.
Fun. I can be. Logan and I played cars on a racetrack half the day. That was fun.
I'm still stuck on the Ohio is fun, or that you're fun.
We've got the Air Force Museum, and it's a free museum all day, every day. I think it's 7 days a week still. Forever. Not enticing. We got a little miniature Beale Street. No,
You're starting
kinds
to
of
bottom
bars.
me, Kevin. You're botting. You're botting.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science.
I'm all confused.
Yeah.
I'm in a conundrum.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Anywho, let's see. Well, this was, we've talked about candy and fruit stuff and alcohol now.
Yeah.
Let's see this next story. It actually aims to detangle the lies about flavor and tobacco and stuff. Let's see. So this is from the Vigor Times, and I don't know anything about the Vigor Times.
No.
But there is an ad about selfies right there with girls. We're just going to scroll right past that. This says, international scientific studies deny link between vaping and youth smoking. And this is from Craig Peters, and it was reported yesterday. So this says that there is a lot of pretty women on this. I don't know if this is meant to draw my eye, but even this tattooed young lady over here is quite appealing. So it says here, major international studies have found no evidence that the use of e-cigarettes and heated tobacco products are leading non-smokers and the youth into cigarette smoking in countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Japan, France, and Switzerland. So this is a whole bunch of countries that they take the data from and can say that there is no link between e-cigarette use and people becoming smokers.
Mm-hmm.
So the gateway from vaping to smoking apparently does not exist. Results of these studies.
For a long.
Yes, I know, but yeah. The ads are based on your Google searches. Oh, okay. Well, then I must look for hot women in crop tops with Mickey Mouse or something. I don't know.
Are you using Deemy's browser again?
But anyway, the results of these studies are timely given the enactment into law of Republic Act number 11,900, or the Vaporized Nicotine and Non-Nicotine Products Regulation Act in the Philippines, that regulates the importation, manufacture, sale, packaging, distribution, use, and communication of vaping products such as e-cigarettes and heated tobacco products. Public Health England, the highest authority in the United Kingdom, said, keep on reading, blah, 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 said, there's the, I'm still looking. It didn't even, look at that. Do you see that? I have to click on the original article here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Here's the, well, I prefer the other pictures more, Kevin.
Well,
this one, the advertisements are not nearly as enticing. Yes, Public Health England, the highest health authority in the United Kingdom, said latest survey results in the UK do not support the idea that vaping or the use of e-cigarettes is a gateway to smoking. Action on Smoking and Health, ASH UK, a staunch anti-smoking organization, also cited results of 5 large surveys of 11 to 16-year-olds in the UK between 2015 and 2017, showing that most young people who experiment with e-cigarettes did not become regular users. Overall, there is no evidence that e-cigarettes have driven up smoking prevalence in this age group. In fact, smoking prevalence among young people has declined since e-cigarettes came onto the market, said ASH UK. A time series analysis conducted by researchers led by Emma Beard between 2000. Damn, I'm getting ads all over the place on this one, Kevin.
I've heard that name
Look
before.
at that.
What is with their pop-ups? God, Lord.
There's a whole bunch of them. I need to get an ad blocker that doesn't that's not full of cookies itself. Anyway, and some of these ad blockers do actually embed all sorts of shit on your computer. A time series analysis conducted by researchers led by Emma Beard between 2007 and 2018 in UK showed that the increase in the prevalence of e-cigarettes use in England among the entire sample does not appear to have been associated with an increase in the uptake of smoking among young adults aged 16 to 24.
Mm-hmm.
Will Webb says, "Oh my God, I just got here and I see a mature audience warning." Yes, that's true. A 2022 study by the University of Bristol researchers led by Lion Shahab. Is that right? Shahab said, based on the current balance of evidence using triangulated data from recent population level cross-contextual comparisons, individual level genetic analysis and modeling, we do believe, however, the causal claims about a strong gateway effect from e-cigarettes to smoking are unlikely to hold, while it remains too early to preclude other smaller or opposing effects. In Australia, a 2020 survey by Dr. Colin Mendelsohn, who's been on this show, and Wayne Hall said the evidence that vaping serves as a gateway to smoking is unconvincing. Smoking more often precedes vaping than vice versa. Mm-hmm. Regular vaping by never smokers is rare, and the association is more plausibly explained by a common liability model, they said. Among the most recent and comprehensive analysis of whether vaping causes smoking uptake was published by Australian authors Gary Chan from the University of Queensland. The study concluded that there was little evidence of a gateway. If a gateway effect doesn't exist, it's likely to be small.
Yes.
The U.S. FDA, in issuing pre-market tobacco authorization to a heated tobacco product, said the available data indicates that few non-tobacco users would be likely to choose to start using heated tobacco, including the youth. Well, because it's really expensive. The startup cost on a heated on one of those is very expensive. Did you see that Will Webb called you Kevin Bot?
I did, and for the non-believers, you can talk amongst yourselves. But my cute little survey, 7,238 people, less than 2% were never smokers. Less than 2% adults, which shocked me.
Well, how many kids actually answered your survey, Kevin?
None that I'm aware of.
So, all right. A 2020 study by researchers led by Martin Jarvis from the University College London noted that among high school students in the U.S., we found that for the great majority of those with any substantial cigarette smoking history, cigarettes were the first tobacco product tried prior to any use of e-cigarettes. Mm-hmm. Clearly, for these students, their use of cigarettes and the development of characteristic nicotine dependence must be attributed to cigarettes as the uptake rather than e-cigarettes, they said. The authors said that at a population level, the National Youth Tobacco Survey 2017 to 2019 failed to provide evidence of an e-cigarette acting as a gateway to smoking in adolescence. Boom.
We done told
Blam. Blam. In summary, data from the National Youth Tobacco Survey do not provide support for claims of a new epidemic of nicotine addiction stemming from the use of e-cigarettes, nor for concerns that declines in youth tobacco addiction stand to be reversed after years of progress.
Yeah, well, progress, but all right.
Yeah. In Japan, a major study of over 60,000 middle and high school students commissioned by the Japanese Ministry of Health found that the use of heated tobacco products was extremely low and much lower than smoking cigarettes. In Germany, the Federal Center for Health Education conducted a study among youth ages 12 to 17 and young adults aged 18 to 25, showing that 0.1% of youth and 0.5% of young adults reported using heated tobacco products during the last 30 days. These figures were much lower than 8.7% of youth and 32% of young adults who reported being current smokers. In Switzerland, a 2018 survey conducted by the independent foundation, the Addiction Suisse, found that regular use of heated tobacco products among 14 and 15-year-old boys and girls was practically negligible and essentially limited cigarette smokers. Jean-Francois Litter of University of Geneva in 2018 study said it may be difficult to prove that vaping precedes smoking when product use co-occurs and when in fact smoking usually precedes vaping. In France, a 2020 survey by Sandra Kitiradis,
I think,
and other researchers found no evidence of an increased risk of transitioning to daily smoking at 17 among ever smokers who had experimented with e-cigarettes.
Nope.
Our results show that among French never ever smokers aged 17, those who had experimented with e-cigarettes were less likely to later transition to daily smoking than those who had not. This was the case even when e-cigarettes was tried before initiating smoking, in contradiction with the gateway hypothesis, it said. So there's a whole bunch. There's only
there's
two
a
more.
lot of heavy duty names in there.
There's a lot of like international science going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, even though at least one of the people mentioned has already been on our show. A 2017 study, in fact, showed that the use of e-cigarettes was accompanied by a decline in smoking rate in several countries. The study conducted by Xu Hongzhu and other researchers said it is not possible to conclusively prove that changes in population smoking could be attributed to any one intervention. However, it is noteworthy that the rate of decline in smoking in both the US and UK has accelerated over the period that vaping has become widespread, and quit rates have increased across the population. These changes do not appear to be explained by any other factors, such as tax rises and public health marketing campaigns.
So, in conclusion, vaping causes less smoking.
Yes.
Causes.
And now we have a whole bunch of fucking scientists like that have published research that proves what we've been saying without having all those credentials behind our name, and nobody gave us millions of dollars to do the research, Kevin.
No. I know one blog I did was 2017 and the gateway is closed, is part of the title.
There's a padlock on it, it's closed.
It shows a rusty padlock on the fucking photo. That's how serious I was.
Boarded shut.
Good. No, now I gotta find it.
I gotta find a like somebody who's really good with like animations and computer stuff, because I want to get a picture. I want to get this picture, and I want to have him dancing like a little jig, with like banjo music playing.
Oh my god.
That's what I want.
I'm gonna use the Victor share screen for this one. I'm so happy about that.
Oh, you're gonna bot like a son of a bitch.
Probably, but I'm gonna rub it just to make you happy because nobody cares.
Yes, well, rub it. Oh, rub it some more, Kevin. Rub it.
I love you.
I know. I heard you say it a while ago.
What does that say exactly?
Teen smoking drops. Gateway closes. Unicorns unemployed.
What's the date, Mister?
Well, I can't read that. I gotta.
2017.
Yeah, I tried.
Gateway's closed. Gay's gone. It's gone. It drops again. It's gone. Their integrity's in question. Teens smoke less. Focus time on efforts, not control. You freaking nuts. This lady, I don't know even where I think she's in the U.S. Her unpopular opinion, I forgot this tweet was in there. I'm totally fine with vaping among teens. The show is not promoting anything about it.
No, I already played the video or audio. I this is our disclaimer, Kevin, just to make sure that we're okay.
I will say that no child should be using any tobacco product.
So
that's right. That's right. So she, damn it, I did it again. She is totally fine with vaping among teens. She didn't say underage. She just said teens. Nicotine.
And nicotine is a performance enhancer like caffeine in many ways. And the fewer teen smoking cigarettes, the better for public health. They are practicing #harm reduction.
And I have I have thanked her, I bet 30 times on Twitter, and used that tweet from her on Twitter multiple times, because it's rare that somebody will tell the damn truth. It's
since we're on the Twitter real quick, I mentioned like showing people making comments out of their butt. And I'm not trying to be mean to Adrienne Cantor here, but in her tweet, she says, I've met dozens of open source vapors, all ex-smokers, and without exception, all of them started high, 12 to 48 milligram, and titrated down to 3 to 6 milligram. So she says that there's no exceptions, that 100% of all people that vape start high and go to 3 to 6. Below 3 milligram is threshold for many. Is there any other addictive drug that has this profile? Not a rhetorical question. So then, she's quoting Charlie here.
Yeah.
So, and want to quit vaping, and he's giving the steps to people that want to quit nicotine. Right? So he says use an open system vape, taper down nicotine over time for your own pace, get to zero and quit, which that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I did have to respond. I was like, you don't know me, but there are a lot of exceptions. I started at 36 in 2010, and I vape 12 milligram today, not due to addiction. There are days where I don't vape at all. I like what nicotine does for me. It helps me focus and regulate mood. Don't play their game. Nicotine is not evil. So we in our own community need to get off of the talking point that nicotine is addictive, or nicotine that people, obviously, yes, she's making a point that nicotine is so addictive that people can control their intake and slowly taper down if they choose to. But to say that every person does that is disingenuous. Because Kevin, I know that you're not at 3 milligrams, are you, Kevin?
I'm at 18. I started at 18. I did try 24, and I was like, nope, thanks. And then Janice was, I think 8 or 12, like within a day. She was like, nope, can't do it. And she went to 6 and 3 when we had 6. I think it might have been 8, but I think it was 6. And then she's been on 3 forever and ever.
Yeah, but that's what she wants. That's what works for her.
I want her to be higher, but she won't do it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I want her to be higher for other reasons, but it's what she enjoys. That's where she's at. That's how it feels for her. That's her throat hit. That's what she wants. That's all.
I don't get this tweet from George W. Bush, but it's not George. It's a
what?
I looked at my Twitter feed, and there's a picture, a 9/11. There's a 9/11 thing. I don't even.
Will's hearing banjos.
Yeah, and that's Will says he started at 36 and he's down to 3, which is great for him. That's what he wants.
Yep.
I'm perfectly happy at 12 most days.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand the flavor surveys because I don't use flavors. Just tobacco's.
Well, I do. I'm vaping an apple brandy tobacco right now.
But I do.
But I do prefer to have that tobacco note in everything that I vape.
Yeah. I read a while back that they use tobacco flavor in baking sometimes too. I can't remember what that was from.
Yeah.
And it surprised me because I didn't know that. But see, Tom's on 12 and he's still on 12. There you go. That's exactly what I want you to do, Tom.
Whatever Tom, whatever makes Tom a happy camper. That's what we're after here. Speaking of, and I don't want to really give this guy any bandwidth because he, I think it's over with. But let me scroll down here. This guy really got my.
Did you get your gander out? Was that what you're saying?
This guy really got my gander. I got blocked by another comic book asshole this week too.
See, while you're dicking around, Jeffrey, he's not planning to. Damn it! I gotta pop it. he's not planning to stop drinking coffee or vaping or drinking occasionally. I'm okay with lower risk and pleasures. Have you ever shamed anybody for drinking? If you drink black, you do. Well, I drink it straight and black. You shouldn't have to. But fuck you. How about that?
I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen people call. I saw like people call other dudes Sally, which is
it's weird. It's just fucking weird
for adding hazelnut cream to their coffee or something. Right.
Janice,
this is the guy right here. This is Michael Redfern.
He already blocked me.
He didn't block me yet, but this guy here, Christopher Sylvian. So let's go to him first. So he's the owner of Best Life Pharmacy and Wellness. He's a former adjunct assistant professor of nutrition and herbal medicine. He's a pastor at Full Gospel Baptist Church, right? He's written a book about reducing belly fat. So he's a Christian that apparently likes shaming people.
There you go.
Anyway, he says, your promotion of e-cigarettes is immoral. Legal, yes, but it's without ethics. Being better than cigarettes doesn't make it healthy. They aren't foods and have zero value to the public. They are drugs that cause health issues. Cease and desist.
You stop that, Michael. Michael already left. Michael, shame on you.
Cease and desist. So a bunch of people replied, but my reply is going to show up top because it does that.
Because it's you.
So it says, so are you going to argue that harm reduction is immoral? Offering addicts methadone to ease their addiction is bad? Suboxone to prevent fatal overdose is evil? How about throwing a life preserver to a drowning person? Is that immoral? No empathy, no humanity. # what would Jesus do?
I love the what would Jesus. I retweeted that.
This is a preacher. This is a guy that's supposed to be empathic and caring to his flock or to people that aren't in his flock.
Look at the 2 quote tweets just for fun. Because people may not realize that there's quote tweets up at the top.
Oh, these 2 quote tweets.
Underneath, yeah. Just see what that is or who it is or whatever.
It says there's no quote tweets.
Oh, because he probably blocked them.
Yeah, it could be. Now, some people have retweeted me, but Charlie's here. Charlie's here giving this guy, science and information. This guy is not after science and information. You know that, right? This guy's purpose is not science and information at all.
Mallory's in there.
Inco's here. Our lovely friend Mallory is here.
Yeah.
Allison is here.
Yep.
All the normal people. Hunky's here. There's our friend Richard. Immoral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Edward. All the good friends are here. All of the Hans Peter Albrecht.
Yep.
Is here. We like him. He's a good guy. Plague Doc is I don't know if this is somebody that has changed their.
I'm not sure.
He just recently showed up in my streams as well. But yes, this guy seems to think it's immoral for offering people a hand up. This is what I bet you $10. This is one of those pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just go cold turkey. You bunch of wusses. God doesn't like weak people. That's
drink your coffee black, you bastards.
Oh no, he's a herbal health dude. He's not gonna let you have any fucking nicotine or caffeine either.
Well, let's see. There you go. That's a problem. So
that's why I just because I think that thread is done. I think he's blocked everybody that's
pretty much
like that it's done. But I did want to show you. I did want to show you how finely crafted, because before I responded, I was like, who is this douchebag? So when I saw that he was a Baptist preacher, I was like, okay, so let's hit this guy on the what would Jesus do?
No, Tom, no chocolate for you.
Chocolate is I just had a chocolate chip cookie, but
Chris came in the room.
It was
like he had a
okay.
cape. It's like he had his chocolate cape on and he was just flying in.
Yeah. It wasn't magical or anything like that, but so this one is by Shane Nyman from the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. UW Oshkosh researcher shows unintended consequences of e-cigarette taxes.
No shit. Really?
Yeah. I don't know if he's one of the co-authors with our friends, but anyway, newly published research led by the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh professor might cause policymakers to pause the next time implementing e-cigarette taxes are up for debate. And we just showed you in that other article where we have evidence that shows that increasing taxes does not decrease use. We already showed that. Yep. The effects of e-cigarette taxes on e-cigarette prices and tobacco product sales, evidence from retail panel data, published this month by Journal of Health Economics, features Chad Cotty as lead author. Cotty is an economics professor and serves as chair of the economics department at the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh College of Business. I just like saying Oshkosh.
Oshkosh bagosh.
Yes, I had those when I was a kid. The team of researchers consisting of 6 health economists with experience examining risk behaviors and consumer habits used Nielsen IQ retail scanner data from 2013 to 2019 to explore the consequences of taxes on e-cigarettes. The nicotine products, the use of which is often referred to as vaping, exploded in popularity among teens and young adults in recent years. And adults, Kevin, they don't mention that regular, first
old people.
I still this whole thing of young adults, is superfluous, right? They don't need the word young there because they're still fucking adults, right?
Oh, exactly. It's like under 6 and over 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at what point did Kevin stop being a young old person and just become a regular old person?
By the time I catch up with Ed. That's
because is there like senior citizen and then like extreme senior citizen?
I hope so.
Or in the other direction, is there young senior citizen and senior citizen?
There must be.
Yeah. As vaping has surged in popularity, so too have concerns from public health officials and policymakers that these tobacco-free products act as a gateway to traditional tobacco products, which we just showed you a plethora of studies and science that proves that there is no gateway. Does not exist. Kevin already showed you his blog that the gate is closed.
Been closed.
Yeah, and it's been closed. And I know for a fact that I did a podcast in 2015 or 2016 where there was a statement by the CDC that said, we haven't found it yet, but we know it's there. Yeah. And we're going to keep looking till we find it. But they haven't found it yet, Kevin.
Well, the FDA tried to create it.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
By, advertising. E-cigarettes are the latest in a line of sin activities like tobacco and alcohol, masturbation, and anything else that you enjoy to be considered for taxation by legislators. Oh dear God. Just think about that, Kevin. I just comedically added, masturbation and sex into that. But just think if you had to pay a touch yourself tax or or a sex tax.
Politicians would go broke. Is that what you're saying?
Just think if they just decided to tax everything that we enjoy.
That's right. That's what they're trying to do.
That's true. As of early this summer, 30 states and Washington, D.C. have enacted e-cigarette taxes, Wisconsin included. What Cotty and the team of researchers found, though, is that the 2 types of products are economic substitutes. So when e-cigarette taxes are implemented, smokers tend to turn to traditional cigarettes. And so if the goal is reducing the use of all nicotine products, e-cigarette taxes don't seem to be the answer. You want your work to have some meaning and possibly inform the decision or discussion, Cotty said. That's what we're hoping for the work to inform the discussion. The study was funded by the NIH, and an earlier version was published in 2020 by the National Bureau of Economic Research. So that is the exact same thing that was in the previous economists group. That the product substitution was what happened when you instituted these types of taxes. So this is a second study that says exactly the same thing. So if we get a couple years from now, if we get a bunch of these, maybe 10 or 20 of these studies to actually come to the same conclusion, they'll still be ignored.
Yes. Regulate, restrict, tax, and
ban. Oh no! If they do a sarcasm tax, I'm going to be in the poorhouse. I'm going to be in. I'm going to be in debtor's prison. Do they still have that? Do they still have that?
They do not. Not here, do they?
I mean, I know that there used to be a thing called debtor's prison, where if you didn't pay your bills, they could come and arrest you.
Yeah.
And I know a girl that I used to date. She bounced a bunch of checks, and they came and they did arrest her for bouncing checks. Do they still do that?
She broke the law. Not because of the debt. That's because of the law breaking.
Do they still arrest people for bouncing checks, Kevin?
I don't know. Do they even write checks hardly?
Well, there were some people a while ago. I mean, obviously, you can't bounce you can, I guess, bounce an ATM card or a debit card swipe if you do it quickly enough.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. So this one you sent, Kevin?
Yeah. Just because I thought it was funny. Now, it's actually in perfect order because what if we just a quick synopsis of what we've already discussed is that there is no epidemic. There wasn't an epidemic in 2017. I already showed you my blog. And now we're going to talk about what the AHA is decided.
That's all. But this is what upsets me, though. I'm going to put this on. This is, well, let me pre-rub. Let me pre-rub over here. Pre-rub. All right, now I'm gonna share this, but I'm gonna point some stuff out before I let you speak. So keep your mouth shut for a second. All right. So this is the U.S. News and World Report website, right?
Yep.
Now this says AHA News: educators, other experts aim to build momentum in the fight against youth vaping. Now, if you scroll down just a hair, it says by the American Heart Association News Daily Health Reporter. This is a fucking press release, Kevin, that is being pawned off as an article by the U.S. News World Report.
Yes.
This is not an article. This is a fucking press release.
Yes.
Look at these beautiful round women down here, Kevin.
Stop it.
I'm just saying. I don't know why these ads are showing up on my thing, but All right. So Tuesday, September 6, 2022, American Heart Association News. For more than a decade, the cloud of vaping has encompassed more and more kids in the United States. Scroll, scroll, scroll. There's a video. Do I really want to play? No. Yeah, no. I guess I could. Let's wait for the ad for plastic bottles to go away. Is there a timer? Here.
A healthier alternative to smoking, a new government warning is raised over e-cigarettes. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a health advisory Friday, warning people not to buy vaping products off the street and say teens and young adults should not use the products at all. The number of respiratory illnesses possibly
I think this is an old video.
Swelled to more than 200. Reports of pulmonary illnesses are also under investigation. Health officials say while the cases appear similar,
So-
more information.
Here's the question. Here's an article that is from September 6th of 2022.
Yep.
From 2022, but they're recommending videos from 2019.
Yes.
You mean to tell me that there's not any fucking newer videos that they could recommend?
Not that would complete the narrative, no.
And they're talking about E-Valley in that fucking article.
Yes, 2019.
Now-
Show the damn date.
Yeah. Now, with a new school year underway, educators and health experts are building on recent progress as they enter the latest round of the vaping fight.
Yeah.
Research into the health impact of electronic cigarettes is still unfolding, but ill effects are beginning to be revealed.
Right.
Did you see that, Kevin?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Tricky
There's
little word, isn't
evidence. There's evidence that teens who vape now may smoke later.
Hmm.
We
Nope.
just showed you like 20 different studies that show that that's a lie. A troubling
Maybe.
finding that follows decades of significant progress in reducing cigarette smoking among youths. The youths. A scientific statement. You see that? A scientific statement by the American Heart Association reported that people who use e-cigarettes may face increased risk of asthma.
Stop. If it's scientific, why are they using the word may? Proceed.
Yes. Using e-cigarettes can lead to respiratory disease, stiffer arteries, higher blood pressure, and trouble sleeping. I have no trouble sleeping, Kevin.
Mm.
If I close my eyes right here on camera, I would fall asleep. Now, speaking of, in a totally unrelated thing, a comic book artist who I'm a big fan of, his name is Dale Keown. He was a huge artist on the Incredible Hulk comic book. He had his own comic with Image Comics in the 90s called Pit. He just started his own YouTube channel this week. In his very first video, he starts the first 30 minutes of the video. He's drinking. And apparently he was drinking prior to going live and was probably already drunk before he went live. And then he smoked a joint. And 30 minutes into his video, he fucking passes out. Speaking of sleeping, just fucking passed out. He had his very first video on YouTube, Kevin. The guy does 30 minutes of content and then passes out and is unconscious for like 5 hours. And in 5 hours, he had 300 followers in the first 30 minutes or so. At the end of 5 hours, he had 4,000 subscribers, and he was passed out. And all they were doing in the chat room was going, "Is he breathing? Is he dead?" You just just kept seeing comments like, "Is he okay?" And then finally, his girlfriend.
That happens to us on occasion.
Yes, his girlfriend comes in and wakes him up, and she's like, "Dude, you're still on the internet." Blah blah blah, and then he realized that he had been passed out for like 5 hours.
And it's had 40 million hits, hadn't it?
It's been it's crazy, but maybe we should see how good of a sleeper I am, and I just pass out on here and see if we can get followers.
All right.
That was the whole point of that conversation. But okay.
So scientific is a may.
Yeah. Well,
just so we're all aware.
And may, there's may risk the can there trouble sleeping and even exposure to secondhand vapor. Being around someone vaping and inhaling the aerosols may pose dangers, Kevin. These concerns are compounded by the fact that vaping is virtually inescapable in a young person's environment.
That's right.
Yeah, it's so prevalent that,
Yep.
They can't even agree on the number of kids that do it. It changes every fucking article. Here we go. Oh, here. Yeah. In 2021, national survey, nearly 60% of middle school and high school students reported that they first tried e-cigarettes because a friend used them.
Mm-hmm.
And friends were the most common way youth accessed e-cigarettes. Many members or family members were another common source. So
Mm-hmm.
you see this scary number here, 60%, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Now, they don't tell you that it's 60% of a very small percentage.
Of like 7.
But people will read this and say, oh, that means that 60% of middle and high school students vape.
It's all in the wording, Patrick. Every damn bit of it.
So
Every
what they're saying is, I mean, this is 60% of the people that responded that they vaped, which is a very small percentage.
Well, they're the American Heart Association, and they already said they had a scientific statement above, so they've already got your trust. They would not lie to you.
I mean, this is brainwashing because they don't put it into context that they see. So people are going to read that and immediately say, "Oh, well, the American Heart, we have to trust them because they're very, very considerate people that are only trying to prevent people from having heart attacks."
Yes.
We must believe everything they say. So apparently 60% of all middle and high school students vape nicotine.
And David has been on record and told me that the antis said you can even lie, period. We don't care.
Yeah.
Period. So they do. That's what they do.
Well, my wife should.
Should.
You see what Whiplash Snidely or A Bastard says down here. He says that secondhand vaping on surface warnings, nobody should look. Son of Liberty Radio. My wife, she's allowed. I actually sometimes
She's
ask
so
her.
brave when she ain't around.
She's in bed.
I know.
She doesn't listen to this.
In fact, I could talk about Janice all I want to now.
Now?
Well, yeah,
she's not cackling in the background at my jokes at your expense right now. So helping kids understand vaping risks. Jackie Mikowski, the class assistant principal at Shenandoah. That is not Shenandoah. This is Shenandoah High School east in Clifton Park, New York, said she saw a decline in teen vaping locally during the 2021 and 2022 school year.
Huh.
There definitely has been a reduction as more awareness has been brought to it. And it doesn't include the fact that during a huge chunk of that, all schools in New York were closed and people were homeschooling their kids.
Huh.
The parents actually were forced to parent.
Yep.
She and her colleagues have been fueling that growing awareness among their students. The school has hosted informational sessions for parents and students, highlighting the potential health and psychological dangers of using e-cigarettes and other tobacco products.
Psychological dangers.
Yes,
we are going to be taking action very soon.
Very soon.
You people.
You people.
So they're contradicting themselves.
Yes.
60%. It's on a decline.
In one session, listen to this one. In one session, local law enforcement advised parents to watch for attitude or mood changes and how to spot signs of substance use around the home. People who vape may be thirstier and have more nosebleeds.
I don't know where they get the nosebleeds from. I've never heard that complaint once.
People who pick their nose
right.
have more nosebleeds.
And
people that have hemophilia have nosebleeds. Or parents might smell a scent that they're unable to identify, even if they never see the easy-to-conceal products, which don't produce smoke like traditional cigarettes. Well, my wife has scented candle or scented oil things all over the fucking house.
Yeah.
So my house, depending on where you stand, either smells like apple pie or vanilla or orange citrus, because she's got those little plug-in things all over the damn house. I said, can't you just pick one and do the whole house in that one thing? No.
She likes flavors. Leave her alone.
Meanwhile, for students caught using e-cigarettes at school, the response has begun to shift from punitive to supportive.
Right.
While in what punitive? There's never been any fucking penalties to these kids other than a day at home.
I'm just wondering where the supportive started today. We just started. We didn't like this bullshit, but we're going to be good now.
We're not going to tase these kids anymore. We're not going to take the bathroom. Anymore. We're not going to take the bathroom doors off of the bathroom. We're not going to, we're not going to do any of those things anymore. Yeah. While in the past, a one-day suspension was common, educators more often engage parents and refer the student to a counselor to meet with the student and help educate the parents about the addictive products and the effective strategies to help young people quit, instead of asking what stresses in your life have drawn you to nicotine. What pressures are you struggling with that make you feel better when you use nicotine? Yeah, none of those. Just you need to quit. And Steve brought up strip searches. No more strip searches.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good to see they've seen it our way.
So Shenandoah High also piloted a program in which students caught vaping read news articles and watch videos about the topic, and then write a short essay on what they learned and how they could better handle things like peer pressure. No wonder Grim Green has so many views.
Why? Because of peer pressure?
Because they're watching videos about the topic.
And us.
I don't get that many views.
See, the line below, the ultimate goal is to change the behavior. That quote bothers me. Now, why
is that social engineering, my friend?
Thank you, sir. I was going to ask what that really meant because I wasn't sure.
That's social engineering.
Motherfuckers. I don't understand that.
If you haven't already read, go to the bookstore tomorrow and look for George Orwell 1984.
I have it. It's over there.
I have
it's in the bedroom. It's in the bedroom.
Is that your happy read? Is that what you read to,
That's what it is. Yeah. Damn it, you caught me.
Just saying, Kevin,
Oh. Double plus good, Patrick. It's double plus good stuff. Come on.
Double plus good.
Well, I would like I first of all would like my feelings for Logan to succeed at what he does.
Well, yes.
Now,
I would hope so too.
At the moment, we're playing with cars, and we got a ramp, and he's trying to get in a box. But I'm not forcing him to do that behavior. I want him to have fun,
Well, fun is fun. Yeah, we like fun. Yeah.
Literally, this child has no notion of have to do except potty and food. You do have to eat, and everybody poops. That's pretty much all he needs to know right now. Other than that,
well, yeah.
Do you think, brother? He got up this morning and he said, "Papa, wake up." He woke me up. What do you want to do? Play. That's what he wants to do. I didn't say you have to play with this or that. He chose what he wanted to play with. There's too many people in my house.
No, I'm trying. I'm trying to do multiple things over here. I'm trying to do too many things over here.
Exactly, Tom. Then you re-educate them, and then they go, "Well, I'll do this instead." Yeah. And then, God forbid, some of those children do some of their own research on the side while they're doing their essay, and then they find out that it's actually safer, and then they go, hey, look what I found, and then they get in trouble for it. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I've seen that.
Yeah.
All I know is
Yeah.
you can't force them to be stupid, but you can force adults to be stupid, obviously.
Well, I mean, adults are generally stupid. You know,
Well, it's a sin.
definitely. Yeah. What, stupidity?
Cease and desist.
The question,
Double plus good.
how does one man set power?
Double plus good.
Exactly.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it? Well, Richard Burton is talking really quietly.
Humiliation, but you can show. Power is tearing human minds apart.
Power is tearing human minds apart.
And in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. In our world, there will only be triumph and self-abasement. Everything else we shall destroy. Past is forbidden. Why? Because when we can cut man from his own past, then we can cut him from his family.
That speech in 1984 is pretty awesome. You may have to find it. You have to find it on YouTube, but yeah, I'm actually gonna run that through an audio thing and pump the audio and fix it, but it is too quiet. Yeah. So, yeah, this piece is longer. It's throwing up some like crazy shit, but since Kevin put it on the thing, I decided to go ahead and show it, even though I thought it was ridiculous. But okay, yeah.
It's ironic that there's no gateway, but now they're worried about the gateway.
We disproved everything that article said prior to opening that article and showing you the article.
Yes, and I didn't know what the thing was going to be tonight completely.
No, everything seemed to work out. It's almost like we planned this shit, but we really don't.
We don't. We really don't. We're not that smart.
It just magically comes together at the very end. Everything just sort of, it's like we have a higher power guiding our hands, Kevin.
That's right.
I think the nicotine is guiding us. The nicotine is helping us.
Cease and desist.
Cease and desist.
You need to have that as a clip. Cease and desist. All I know
Cease and desist.
If you can't think for yourselves, we'll think for you.
No, that's what the government wants, Kevin, is they want the sheep. They want the sheep to just do what they say. They don't want you to parent your kid. They're going to take that responsibility from you.
Yep.
They want you to just be happy consumers, but you can only consume the things that they want you to consume.
The age of what is it? Age of not age of consent. I can't remember what they called it now. Anyway,
we're talking about the age of consent.
Age of majority. Age of majority is 18, but what do they want it to be? I think 25.
Well, I think eventually they're going to make it like 45. You know, this weak ass generation of brats that are being released into the wild nowadays. Well, they're not even being released into the wild because they're living with their parents in the basement until they're 45. So,
or the other spare room. I think Fig had an assessment with us quite some time ago.
I wasn't talking about your kids, Kevin.
If you recall, Fig said quite some time ago, why not make T21, T25? Why not? What's the difference?
Well, Hawaii wants to raise it every year until it's 100. So, I mean, that's what the bill that they tried to pass 2 years ago said.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to make it 21 now, but next year it's going to be 22. The next year after that, it's going to be 23 until we get it to 100.
It makes my head hurt. It really does. And you have no free will that way.
No, they don't want you to have free will. That's what that clip was about, by the way. You couldn't hear it.
Oh, was it? I haven't seen that in so long. So free will, liberty, choice. I just, it's, and they don't care. Most of these kids don't care. They don't even understand it.
They don't realize.
Makes me sad.
They don't realize that right now they want herd mentality.
Yeah.
If you believe differently than me in anything,
cease and desist.
That your thoughts, not even your words anymore, used to be sticks and stones. Remember, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Right.
Well, then they changed it to sticks and stones and words hurt me and break my bones. Now it's having a thought different than them.
And everyone gets a trophy.
Yes.
Which is a totally
everybody is beautiful, everybody is unique, and everybody should be celebrated.
Except when you're not thinking the way we want you to. And then if you do that, then you'll be okay.
No, you're fucked. No, you can't. No.
Uh-oh, Janine's in the room.
We've only been here for 2 hours. She's like, you're still here. We've only been alive for 2 hours and 17 minutes, my love.
Wait a minute. You just got here. What are you doing? I didn't know she was here earlier.
She wasn't here earlier. I didn't see her. She just comes in at the last minute and acts like she was here. She was not here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even try that.
No, I still think Judy G's assessment of the whole thing is this.
I didn't tell you this, Kevin,
Uh-oh.
but not last weekend, but the weekend before, because you were not here last week.
Right.
I mentioned the fact that Charlie had shared around that they were doing this. They do a thing every month where they have a theme where like people can come in and talk about, like, they did one on what your favorite band was or your favorite music was. And then 2 weeks ago, it was your favorite joke.
Okay.
Come in and tell your favorite joke. So I was there. Jeffrey Zamora was there. Charlie was there. There was like 8 or 10 of us. Hans was there. People from all over the world were in this Inco sort of like, let's blow off some steam and have some fun.
Yeah.
And Judy G was in there.
Well, that changes the topic, doesn't it?
and I showed the clusterfuck vape band, and she was like, I still haven't gotten one. I'm like, we must figure out a way to get her. I have a small couple here. I could send her a few.
Oh, I was gonna say if need be, I will as well.
I got a bag of like 10, so I've used a couple, but I still have some.
I've given 4
Oh,
away.
Janine was there too and said nothing. She didn't tell any jokes.
See? Yeah.
But Charlie did comment on, she has a painting behind her couch, and he did comment on her couch. I do remember that now. Pruin was there. Richard Pruin was there. Judy was there. Can't remember. There was like 10 of us in there from all over the world. It was fun.
It's amazing.
And it was advertised, which is the thing. It was on Facebook. I tweeted it out. Like they're giving you the opportunity to meet and hang out with, and not talk about vapey stuff. Like that was
right.
It did devolve at one moment for about 5 minutes about vapey stuff, but then we went right back to telling jokes. But yeah, it was fun. You missed it. You missed the opportunity to laugh with Judy G, Kevin.
Schmooze.
So just let you know, you have to pay attention when they advertise that.
Fine.
Luckily, it was a Saturday that I was available to do that, because not every Saturday I can do that. But
no.
Anywho, hey, we talked about all the things.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about all the things already.
Mm-hmm.
So we could just end it here and say goodnight to all of our friends and still go to bed at a decent hour.
I love them. I love all of them.
I do like some of them.
You should like them all.
I do. I absolutely adore young Janine Timmons, even though she doesn't show up until the very end. And obviously, we like Tom a little bit. He's okay.
I didn't see the moody old broad this evening, by the way.
I know, I didn't either. Did you see earlier on Twitter? She said that she almost fell asleep in her car because she didn't want to.
No.
She didn't want to get out and get wet. Did you not see that?
I don't think.
I think you did because I think you commented on it, or I think you replied.
I don't know.
Let me scroll down. I have to find it.
Today's been a blur.
I know for a fact that you did because she threatened you.
Oh, was that the one where I said she was moody?
Yes.
Okay.
So Skip says here. I'll share it real quick before we go. So she says, sitting in my car, I should go inside at my desk where I should be at my side at my desk working. But it's raining and I don't like the sensation of cold drops and I'm tired with zero motivation. So I just don't want to move. I could fall asleep while listening to the raindrops hitting my car, soft, gentle rain. And then there's a picture of Chandler. So Jerry said, naps in the rain are magical. Open your windows. And she already said that she doesn't like rain. So I know for a fact that I responded to this. No, let's see. Let me click on this one. Oh, yeah. I could fall asleep, not cold. Geez. Yeah. Battery is dying. Time to go in and charge my phone. And I said, give Mark the phone first. Because she said she was going to sleep in the car. And then she Lucille balled me. And then he said he really needs his own account.
Yep.
And she says, hell to the no.
Look at her.
And then you said, you're not the boss of me, Moody. Your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. And she says, don't mess with me. I have superpowers. Queen of the universe.
Oh, you ain't scared of her.
And I was actually going to reply to this, but I didn't. I was going to reply with my own GIF that said, hail to the king. Because in front of every queen, there is a king ruling the kingdom.
Oh.
And Mark is our friend.
As long as she lets me say so, right?
No.
I'm the boss of this house.
Here, I'll tell a joke that I did not, and I have patients that are near the century, or well, I have a couple. I have one right now that's over the century mark, and these are men of a certain generation.
Yeah.
And this one guy likes to tell jokes.
Yeah.
And he likes to tell jokes that would not be considered appropriate today.
Mm-hmm.
But one of his jokes that he says is, you know what you tell a woman with two black eyes?
I don't know.
Nothing. I already told her twice.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
That's now. I don't remember if I told this, but during Labor Day, I had to explain to my wife what Labor Day was because it's an American holiday. They don't have it in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, when you're a kid, I said the only thing, the most important thing when I was a kid about Labor Day was that Jerry Lewis was going to be on TV for 24 hours, and there was going to be comedians and musical guests and companies writing big checks. And she said, you mean to tell me that there was 24 hours of that? And I said, yes. And it was on almost all the channels.
Yes.
The Muscular Dystrophy Association telethon was on like all of the channels. So you had to watch it because there was nothing else on because we didn't have cable. And they were showing. I actually found some chunks of different years of the telethon on YouTube. So I showed her, right? You know, it was like a 2.5 hour or 3 hour chunk of one of the years of the Jerry Lewis telethon. And Jerry is out. He's introducing all of his guests that will be helping him throughout the 24 hours. So, and this is a joke, and I did not write this joke. I was kind of surprised because this is from like sometime in the mid 70s, I think, is probably the time that this was. And he comes out and he's talking about how many years that he's already done the telethon, yada yada yada. And then he says, "My guest host for tonight, or for the telethon, is Ed McMahon." And Ed McMahon comes out, and they're chatting, and he's like, "Now, what year did you first start?" And Ed McMahon says, "Oh, I think the first time I did it was sometime in about the 60s or whatever." And Jerry says, "Well, I had already been doing it for 10 years or 15 years or whatever before you joined us. Why weren't you here for the first 10 or 15 years or whatever it was?" And Ed McMahon says, without any like humor, looking like he was like it was a joke, you could tell, but he deadpanned it. And he said, "Oh, well, back in those days, I couldn't be on stage after a Jew." And I'm just like, oh,
crazy.
And then everybody laughed, and I'm like, oh my God, you could not tell that joke today.
Nope, not today. Not today.
And then
Nothing.
what the hell did Ed McMahon do besides sit beside Carson and laugh? Well, he sat beside Jerry Lewis, not Jerry Lewis. That's a completely different animal. Jerry Lewis, he had his own TV show. He was a comedian and TV personality even before Carson.
Yeah.
He just was always second fiddle, but he made millions of dollars as second fiddle. So,
Yep.
Can't complain. But he had Star Search too. He was the host of
Star Search. Yeah.
But then after that, Sammy Davis Jr. came out, and then there was racial jokes. Then after that, because he not only was he black, but he was also a Jew too.
Yep.
Sammy Davis Jr. But yeah, that was my wife is like, "How is that funny?" I'm like, because obviously not being from America and not being under certain things, she didn't get any of those jokes that were quite popular. But my new favorite thing, Kevin, is going on YouTube, and they have all these reaction videos now.
Yeah.
And the most popular thing now, because there's these two guys that I listen to that are two black guys, but they listen to metal music and give opinions of these metal songs from their point of view. But there's also several man and woman, African American man and woman videos watching and listening to things. And the new, and there's a whole bunch of these. It's not just one black man and woman couple, but multiples. But the most popular one now is to do Blazing Saddles. So they just go into YouTube and type in Blazing Saddles reaction.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a whole bunch of that's the new one. Like everybody's doing the same movie, because that movie particularly could not be made now, even though the thing is yes, they're using the N-word and they're making a bunch of jokes, but it's to show how bad racism is. But you have to get through the whole thing to get to that.
Right.
But that is
Yep.
that is crazy. But that particular one, just watch a few of those because you're gonna see you're gonna see the vast range of people, laughter, like, oh my God, that's so, and then obviously there's some horrific faces for a few minutes until they realize that what Mel Brooks is trying to do is show you that racism is bad.
Yeah.
But that's hilarious. But yeah, since we're going to end the show tonight, that's your homework is to go watch some reaction videos.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Lost in Vegas is that's their channel. I think it's called Lost in Vegas. And they do some amazing, like they're metal fans now.
Nice. I think I know who you mean.
But it's these two black guys and they get up there and, and they're listening and they're giving good, reviews of like old metal, new metal. Yep. They even do they do rap stuff, but mostly metal. And it's good to watch. I enjoy watching them because it's like they're they have good opinions.
Sweet.
If they dogged on something I didn't like though, I probably would leave a comment or something. But anyway, Kevin, how do you want to say goodnight to our friends tonight?
Good night to our friends. Just be kind to each other. Like I think it was Abe Bastard or Steve said that a minute ago to you. Be kind.
Hashtag be kind. That was because I told the old man joke about the two black guys.
I know. Plus the cranky old broad thing, So
I never call her cranky old broad, Kevin. I was taught to be way more respectful than that. I'm afraid that the shoe is going to fly from Pennsylvania through the air from my mama.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like all the way here through my roof and plug me in the head.
And your wife will just find you laying there just withering to death.
Twitching. Like twitching to death on the floor here. Drool hanging out of my.
We love you, Janine.
Yes, we do.
All of you. Every one of
you. Ever since, obviously I try to give you guys all of the links throughout, or Kevin will put them in. But since we've been putting them in the chat or in the show notes and on the Facebook posts and stuff, you guys have access to all of the shit that we're talking about. So the next time somebody you see somebody tweet or comment about the gateway, there's one article with like 15 different sources that prove without any doubt that there is no fucking gateway to smoking to vaping. Or no gateway from vaping to smoking, I should say.
No.
The whole thing is we do this on Friday nights to have some fun, to allow me to make fun of Kevin and to give him the buzz. Yeah.
Period.
But yeah, we're here to entertain and enjoy and inform. And sometimes I might pick on you, but it's all out of love, or at least in most cases, it's out of love. Sometimes I really don't like you, but
Charlie,
if I do it right, you'll never know who it is. But anyway, y'all be good. Have a good weekend. Try not to kill anybody while I'm, especially me. I don't want you to kill me or anything, but stay out of trouble, and we'll see you in 7 days. Bye.
It's not fair! It's not fair! It's not fair!
But, then you've got people on the other side saying, well, but experts disagree, which is a kind of typical merchants of doubt tactic. And the same will be said for nicotine benefits in Tourette's syndrome, ADHD, autism, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, a lot of research is looking at cross-sectional studies that find associations and trying to claim that nicotine causes those things.
They want to
when all logic says that people with those things are using nicotine because it helps them, but so we're going to face that. But one of the ways to deal with this is to get people to tell their personal stories. I should be the last one to ask anyone to do that. Why? Because an adult living with ADHD is already stigmatized.